Hello everyone, this is Cole's Corner. Hope you had a nice Easter. And I'm going to continue podcast 3 today about the workbook of A Course in Miracles. So in the last 2 podcasts, first one was a little introduction. Second was a little, like a teaser of what this book is actually all about. What is its purpose, what it does, how it helps us to forgive ourselves for what we created by misperceptions and by not being connected to our true nature, which is our self, which is a capital self, which cannot be described, cannot be really named, just like that line in the book of Tao Te Ching that says, the Tao that can be told is not an eternal Tao. And so the self that is true can never be really described. The minute it is, it becomes a tombstone, becomes an idea of some kind, and then that idea will invite interpretations, and those interpretations will create reality based on this interpretation, and off it goes with everything we think. Today I'm going to begin with a workbook, and I one day might do something with a text and a teacher's manual. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to read a little bit of this, and I'm going to also comment on the importance of what it really means. So here it says right at the beginning that theoretical foundation, such as a text, which is a book 1, is a necessary background to make exercises meaningful. Here, yet it is the exercises which will make the goal possible. And that is because an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. Okay? So I could even talk about the fact that I met quite a few people who had some profound awakening, but it did not last. Why? Because the mind was not trained. Course in Miracles is a mind training that helps us to establish a certain background in which we can awaken and remain awake. Yeah? So, like I said in the first podcast, you awaken, and then you awaken that there is more to you than just your thinking and your body. And then comes this exquisite realm of feeling, which is the will of God. And this whole area is so unexpressed and misunderstood so thoroughly and profoundly that it almost hurts when we realize that we're sitting on a gold mine. We're sitting on this exquisite light we're looking for, and we look for it outside of ourselves and we'll never find it. So it's really always a feeling, and the feeling, when free again, has the capacity to manifest for you any experience you like. And I'm not talking about some, making money or building or organizing workshops and, being spiritual and thing. It's just you waking up to this exquisiteness that is what God placed into you for you to have fun. Now I tell you right at the beginning, to access this place is happens effortlessly. Any effort is what's in the way, and yet we need some focus and some training at the beginning to establish that place in which effortlessness can manifest itself. right? There's a line in the Course in Miracles says, I need do nothing. So if I say do nothing, what am I doing? I'm telling you to do something. Do nothing. Okay? So this mind cannot escape the fact that it's constantly trying. And trying is dying. And so we need to be trained to come to a place where we do absolutely nothing. And as soon as we do that, or not do that, boom, you're awake. You begin to flow. You're no longer trying anything. You're letting God live the paradise that God created for you. That would also require to release many judgments and images and all the experiences of what God is, because if you had an awakening 20 years ago, that God is dead. It doesn't exist anymore. This is a constantly renewing universe, and I'm not talking about the form of it. I'm talking about the experience of it. Yeah, somewhere in your Teachers of Manual it says, how do you find a peace of God? Yeah, I'm not talking about just being peaceful because you meditated or you have lovely music playing somewhere and no one's bugging you. You come into this place of quiet. That's not necessarily peace of God. It's just you being peaceful. Peace of God is a turn on. It's an experience of incredible fireworks within. Comes with the fireworks, and you can't bring your books with you either, and all your knowledge about everything will actually not help either. So it comes a place where you resign as your own teacher, and you just say, okay, Jesus, your turn, just show me. He goes, I tell you, if you do this 100%, guarantee you, try it now. I said, Jesus, it's all yours. I resign as my own teacher. And let me tell you, if in that very moment you have an unspeakable experience of something that you've never even dreamed would be possible, then you ask 100%. If you didn't, if nothing happened, there is somewhere you don't want to resign. Yeah? Because you think you can figure this out. I can burst you that bubble right now. You can't figure it out. You just can't. Because that which wants to figure it out is itself unreal. There's a tiny little part of us that acts as if it was an important part, and it's actually not. And so this resignation as our teachers, like, oh, I'm gonna teach myself this, is quite a step, an important step. So you, for a moment, hang it over, right? Because I'm sure you have tried in many ways, and you can keep trying again, but I guarantee you that you will not succeed. It's just not. With my own effort, there's no way I would have gotten this, because my images of God and my imagination of what freedom, kingdom of heaven is, it was all false. I was just imagining, and imagination is magic. You're just making stuff up, and you think you're creating, but you're actually not. Creating is a completely different thing, and it does not involve any effort at all. So you step back, and you say, okay, God, what's for lunch? It's like boom, something appears in front of you. If it doesn't, it's just, again, we are using history to project the future, and it's not going to look that good because history is dead. Yeah, it's not there. Judgments we made about things, They don't exist. We just made them up and we think that's really what happened. But that's not at all what happened. It was a misperception. Because what happened, if you push this will of God in you, which is a feeling, you virtually become brain dead. I'm speaking really lovingly here. The brain becomes, it turns on this rambling, crazy thinking, and it begins to show you a carrot with some promise, which no matter how fast you go or slow, the carrot will be always in front of you and it will be unreachable. You will never be able to eat this carrot. Anyway, I'm having a bit of fun here, as you can hear. Okay, so yeah, just to make the whole thing easy, because you know what, this course was written in 1975, and since then a lot has changed, and yeah, it's a great manual and it's very important, but we're also now ready to actually drop into where it really is. And until we have this awakening where we wake up and realize that our feelings are our greatest assets, right? Because really, when you look at it, and I'll keep repeating this every single time, every single thing you do it to get a feeling. True? Say yes. Because it's true. Well, no matter what we do, it's like, you know, you get a new car, and what is at the end? How has it made you feel when you have it? Oh, God, I got a new car. It's the feeling, yeah? You go and work and you buy yourself something, you go, oh my God, I so always wanted this. What does it bring up in you? A feeling. It's not even the thing. It's like, how's the thing gonna make you feel? And if you don't have an evolved capacity to feel, this, you'll be over it at some point, yeah? And you will not even enjoy it. And so it's really important to learn how to feel. See, I don't really trying to get anything at all, because I can have anything I want. I can have it now, yeah? Because that which is going to be the thing I want will be a feeling, okay? So I said, what's lacking? You know, what kind of thing do I need? What's necessary right now? And then it comes to you. It's like, oh, I need a girlfriend, rather, let's say, right? And it's like, no, you don't need a girlfriend. What is it? What is that gonna bring up in you? Oh, it's gonna bring up a feeling of relationship, let's say. And so, feel it. Feel a relationship. Feel that feeling. Now, allow this feeling to completely fulfill you now. Otherwise, it's gonna make yourself look good. You're gonna put out. Somebody's gonna rock up, and you're gonna feel that same feeling you could be feeling right now. End of story. So you become really good at feeling everything that you desire. And it's that simple. And then you can sit in this feeling for hours and get completely, what's the word? You get completely saturated by this feeling. Just like keep saturating and saturating. You feel it in every cell. You feel it in your bone marrow. You feel it in your legs, feet, you know, whatever you got in there. It's just whatever you think you are, your mind, your heart, your feelings, your body, your auras, your whatever thing you have, even in the parts of you that you might think are not that as holy as some other parts. Yeah, so you simply feel it everywhere. Relationship, wow, beautiful. And now the warmth coming in, and the closeness, and the incredible union with one person, with another. And it's love. It's beautiful love. Just my heart's just melting, right? And now you train your mind a little bit to experience all this. Because Course in Miracles says, seek the experience. Yeah? It's not about the theory, it's not about theology of A Course in Miracles, it's not about all this, unconscious guilt or whatever. It's not. And it's all about an experience. And so let's focus, number one, on this experience, right? So it says it is the purpose of this exercise is to train the mind to think and analyze with the course, which the course sets forth. And then it says, the exercises are very simple, right? They're so simple. You just need to let the exercises do us, yeah? You don't do the exercise, you let the exercise do you. And each single lesson will generate an experience in you. If it's not generating an experience, and you say, well, that was a lovely lesson, then you actually haven't done it, yeah? What often happens, and I'm going to say this right at the beginning, is that you read, and suddenly you fall into this like, oh, don't move from there. Oh. Suddenly you fall into this like a state of invisibility. The world will vanish, right? Even momentarily. And you just be in this very, very quiet place. Now that needs nurturing. That needs, okay, feel it. Feel that place. Be in it. You in it. You in it. Don't worry about finishing the lesson. The lesson's already done what it was meant to do. Right? It drops you into this place, close the book down, and begin to express what's occurring in you. So you allow this experience to take over. Yeah, whatever it is, whether it's a sense of feeling very connected, you might cry because you go like, oh my God, it is so beautiful. You know why it's beautiful? It's you. It's the kingdom of God in you. Even just a tiny little streak of it. It's just there you are. Hello, welcome home. And then it's almost like a little streak, and you just stay with it, and let it take you. Because you know what? Where you're going, you can't go with your efforts. So you just go, let it take you, and then step back and let it lead the way. It will show you exactly where you need to go, what has to happen in there. It'll be just done for you, yeah? All you gotta do, get out of the way and let it do you. There's like, Jesus staying right next to you right now, saying, anytime. You ready? Hang on a second. I've got to finish my lesson, right? And that's how we kill it in ourselves. So notice when you have an experience, close the book down and begin the movement. Begin to, you can even make a sound and go like, oh my God, what is this? And you begin to reverberate yourself in that place, yeah? And let it take you. It will take you where it needs to. So these exercises are very simple. And it wasn't so simple for me at the beginning, but they're very, very simple now. So I'm going to give you little hints and points and shortcuts to what is going on, yeah? Like I said the other day, I said, where's the punchline in this whole thing? What's the point? What's the thing? but it just takes you and it will begin to mold you, and it will begin to prepare the altar so you can experience the greater presence of God within yourself. Because the way you are or might be, it might require a tiny little bit of purification. And like I said, you know, an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. So you'll begin to have this experience, then your ego will begin to label it as like, oh, yeah, I know what's going on. This is going on. And next minute you have a story and you have a tombstone. You know, you can put it somewhere and store it into the libraries of experiences that are not real. So exercises are simple. They require just a few minutes a day. Doesn't matter where you do them. You can do them anywhere. They need no preparation. They number from 1 to 365. The period of training is 1 year. Like I said, I didn't manage in 1 year, but you might. For me, I really got that quite early about the experience. And then sometimes I would have these experiences where I just would not want to move anywhere for 2 or 3, sometimes 4 days. And some lessons would drop me so deep that I would just keep going with that until it was used up. Also, you might have experience where you're doing a lesson, makes no sense, right? And you make the next one, makes no sense. Why? Because he was preparing you for the third one, right? So if nothing happens, don't worry about it. Just do everything it says. And this is where one has to be. Anyway, my recommendation is that you begin to do it as soon as you read it, right? It says, do this now. Now close your eyes and repeat this lesson to yourself slowly. So begin to do it straight away, because when you come to the end, you will not remember all the instructions, right? So if you are really thorough, it's good to read the whole lesson and then go and do the practices. Now listen, guys, lessons are great, but the exercises within the lessons are the an absolute crème de la crème. So the applications of the lessons is the key. You will often hear repeat a lesson to yourself slowly. So each lesson has a little title. So you grab that title and you just repeat to yourself, you know. I am never upset for the reason I think. And you start again. I am never upset for the reason I think. Or God is love, and therefore so am I. Who? God is love, and therefore so am who? I. Who? I. Therefore so am I. And you begin to start feeling this love that God is, you know. God is a... And so you just keep going and falling into this experience of what these words bring up in you. And feelings are much slower than the thoughts, generally. So for a feeling to generate an experience, you know, so the will of God in you creates that experience in you, you gotta wait, because it's much slower frequential speed, yeah? So you fall into this gentle shimmering that the kingdom of God is. It's a completely below us experience. It's not in the above. Yeah. Above is only sky. Right? So it's below us. Yeah. The kingdom of heaven is down. The heaven is downstairs. Yeah. If you point to your head, there's hell, right? Above, it's just the sky, it's just clouds, millions of clouds going and going and going in all sorts of shades and shapes, and it's just thoughts, right? When a kingdom opens up, everything clears up, the sun comes out, and there's just light, like the idea of Christmas, yeah? If you look at the whole Christmas idea, it's so beautiful, It's all in there. Like you're the Christmas tree. You're the tree of life. That's you, right? Right now, tree of life. So you see, how does it look? Is it straight or is it crooked? Has it got some branches missing? So you just erect yourself to this, erected position. You open up your body, and then you become this tree of light, which is a Christmas tree, right? So what's on the top of the Christmas tree usually? Yeah, that's a star. That's the sun. That's the clear mind. Yeah, it's a star. It's not polluted by, it's not cloudy. It's just clear and crisp, open. Light, beautiful light. Yeah. Now, when that is on, all the lights come on. So every single cell begins to vibrate as that crisp, clear idea, the thought of God, And then what happens? Comes a time and suddenly Christmas tree has tons of presents. Yeah. So that's our kingdom down the bottom. And, what do the presents need? They need to be unwrapped. So we begin to unwrap these presents, and then we find out what the expression of love was, and the unpacking of these presents is down the bottom. It's in the will of God, down in the kingdom. It gets created. It gets opened up. It's a surprise. It's always a surprise. It's like, what am I gonna get? I wonder. So you have no expectation, you have no projections, you have nothing. You just go like, let me see the surprise. And you just sit there, and then suddenly a feeling comes, and it begins to manifest itself in you. It's like, wow, I never felt anything like this before. That's the present being unwrapped. Yeah? So the purpose of these exercises is to train the mind to a different perception of everything in the world, right? You might get that present down there, and if you judge it as something, then it becomes something. But if you don't judge it, you might be surprised what's gonna come. And then it goes into like the workbook is divided into two sections. One has got to do with the undoing, which is like undoing of how you see things now. And the second one is to do with the restoration of sight, right? Which they call vision, right? Now, sight has got nothing to do with our eyes as we know them. It's not a physical thing. It's a vision. You begin to see things. And even that word vision, it's an interesting one, because that particular one took me a long time. And then suddenly I'm going like, God, I'm actually seeing things without my eyes. And you can do that if you close your eyes. You still see stuff, right? And but it's a different way of seeing. It's a little bit like that. But the imagery or the objects will begin to disappear, and something else begins to reappear, right? And then That's the golden age, because you enter a golden city, and I could label it anything. I could never put the truth on it, right? So you will begin to see, and one of those aspects of restoration of sight, which is their inner vision, is that you begin to see and understand feelings like you never have before. So what's really important to see, Course in Miracles says we have thoughts, and then we have false thinking, and then we have real thoughts, the one we still think with God, that are creating as God creates, exactly the same. He created us exactly the same as Him. That's why He calls us our son or daughter, or the same thing. So you then have this capacity to create, but you can't do that with false thinking. So as you drop these old thought patterns, you'll get some new ones. You get inspired, right? Now, as you drop the old thoughts, you will also begin to drop old feelings. Yeah? Those labels that we call feelings, that's not our real feelings. That's just feelings. They're false things. A lot of them are just emotions, and most of them are just a lie. Like, you can even go like, oh, I'm feeling, this would be good to know. Where's my, okay, let's say you can feel, shame. That's an old feeling, right? That feeling can be completely transformed, same as your thinking can be transformed. So, just need to know that first, when you reach feelings, you will reach this layer called false feelings. Those are pretty much all the old feelings that are labeled, nailed, and that keeps coming up over and over and over. That's your karma, right? But that's not your real feelings. When you get in touch with your real feelings, you will get in touch with the salvation of the world. Because in that moment, you'll begin to transform the world you see. Not by going out and trying to change it, but by changing it within, so the golden age will reappear on the outside of yourself. Right? And then obviously you have to get to that act of giving it away constantly, because you don't want to hold on to anything. Hoarding is what death is. You hoard, you make yourself heavy, and then you're no longer light. You're darkness, because you just, full of stuff. So you got like experience and let it go. Experience, let it go. Experience, let it go. As you let it go, you have a chance to have new experience. If you don't let it go, it makes you heavy, and then you can't perceive properly anymore. And it is recommended that each exercise be repeated several times a day, preferably in a different place each time, and if possible, in every situation in which you spend any long period of time. The purpose is to train the mind to generalize lessons so that you will understand that each of them is as applicable to one situation as it is to another. Right? Exercises should be practiced with the eyes open, since the aim is to learn how to see. The only rule that should be followed through is to practice the exercises with great specificity. Now, Write this down somewhere if you're doing a Course in Miracles. Exercises to be practiced with a great specificity. And this is really important. Like he says some things there just only once, right? Like he says, you know, you need to identify the cause, you know. Then people think that the cause is what they're seeing. No. What you see is the effect. Cause is you. You know, you, cause is in you. Effect is what you see outside yourself. Right? And to find the cause, this is where you need Holy Spirit. This is where you need some help. Because you need to get through these false feelings and false thoughts to get into the truth of you. Right? This is what that Holy Spirit, this unifying spirit in you is for. Right? It's like, God, show me really how I'm feeling about this so I can transform my feeling. And you go, oh, there it is. Thank you. You become grateful when you run into true feelings. There are certain things that, first of all, they give you incredibly quiet place. Your mind will vanish. Mind will go very quiet and content. And you suddenly will be extremely present with this feeling. You know, like pure. If you're a man, you like this pure masculine presence. You're like, boom, like this quietness comes in, this emptiness. You're in this exquisite place. For women, slightly different in my experience of exploring my feminine. It's very different. Feminine will experience it more like fullness and totality of everything. So each day will be planned around one central idea, and the exercising themselves, you know, will consist of applying this idea to as many specifics as possible. Yeah, so you have an idea, you look around and you start applying that lesson to that which you're looking at. Very important to look at something and stay there. Not go like, oh, let me look at this and say, I don't think I'm going to apply it to this. How about, oh, I'm not going to apply to that either. Oh, I'm going to apply to this. That's the biggest mistake you can make. Everything is applicable. Here it says, be sure that you do not decide that there are some things you see to which the idea for today is inapplicable. The aim of the exercise will always be to increase the application of the idea to everything. This will not require effort. So again, you just like suddenly you're moved to look somewhere and go that, apply, you know. This phone doesn't mean anything. It's like my eyes automatically move to something else and I'm gonna stay on that. You know, this speaker doesn't mean anything. You know, this cover doesn't mean anything. And it says, yeah, look around behind you, what's there? You just look, first thing you see, boom, yeah? It's very important because eventually you're going to have to apply these lessons to everything that's in you. And there will be always things you will try to avoid, like certain feelings. It's like, oh, I'm not going to express my shame right now. I can express something else. And then you wonder why we or other people are kind of like false, yeah? Because they not really truly applying things that are really there. Like I said, you know, yesterday, the other day, that, you know, you're never upset for the reason you think. Why am I really upset then? Right? That's the real question. Then you need, again, here is the moment for the Holy Spirit to take you to that place, but you gotta go with him. You gotta go with him, whatever it's not, doesn't have a sex. You just go with this healing entity to take you to the place where you originated everything you see. You could even ask, where is that person in me? And if you really step back and stop efforting and really ask this unifying field to show you, it will take you right to that moment when you made this up. And in that place you can undo it. Because like the lesson says, then you can just let it go. Because when you see it, that you made it up and that it caused you so much pain, you'll so be ready to let it go. So he says in here, the aim of the exercise will always be to increase the application of the idea to everything. This will not require any effort. Only be sure that you make no exceptions in applying the idea. I love this. Some of these ideas you will find hard to believe. Others will seem quite startling. It doesn't matter. You're merely to ask to apply them to what you see. You are not asked to judge them, nor even to believe them. You ask only to use them, because it is their use that will give them meaning to you and show you they are true. Remember only this: you need not believe them, you need not accept them, and you need not welcome them. Some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter nor decrease their efficacy. But allow yourself to make no exception in applying the idea the exercises contain. Whatever your reactions to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than this is required. So, I'm going to introduce a few things around the lessons and how to apply them, and I will talk about all the troubleshootings that can come with it. So, as we know, each lesson has a title, and then there is a text, and there is application. Now, this application bit is the most important part. Yeah. Also, what often happens with the name of the lesson or the heading, what your mind will want to do, will want to change it. You got to watch this. It's very important that you get the lesson, you write it down, because it will ask you to apply it a few times a day. I recommend highly to get an app. You can get a Course in Miracles Lessons application, and what I recommend the most is the one that has a timer on it. So if it tells you to apply it more often in a day, that you actually set it to that, and have it gently somewhere remind you to do so. I've got this application about 25 years after I started doing Course in Miracles, and that was the year I really did the workbook properly. And I realized I've never really done it as it says, and that is very important to be done as it says. This is a full dedication. This is a full endeavor. You can't do this partially. You can't just say like, oh yeah, I'll just try these lessons. It's like you want to train your mind to be able to withstand the intensity of transformation. Then this is a foundation. It sets the mind into getting used to experiencing the actual light. And like I say, the light is not like a walk in a park. It can become quite intense in us. It says all the expressions of love are maximal, but it's only to the point to which we can allow ourselves to feel it, to experience it, to actually give it its free flow. Set your will free, set all your feelings free, so you can be in a full expression of that experience. And that takes getting used to. So you take the heading and it says, nothing I see means anything. Nothing I see means anything. I get you to look around, and whatever you see, you apply it to. Like I said, you got to be very careful that you don't choose what you're going to apply it to, that you apply it to everything that you look at, without choosing whether this is a correct thing to do or not. A very important part of the instructions. Also, to learn how to really feel each word that you say. So if we take this lesson and you go, nothing, what's that? Nothing. And really get this thing in your mind that what it's saying, it says nothing. What does that mean? It means nothing. Yeah? I, who's that? I, nothing I see. In this room. Where? In this room. Also it says here, on the street or from this window. Depends where you find yourself. Means, what? Means anything. Now let me tell you, this course will slow you down to a place when you begin to feel things you never felt before. But to do so, you got to slow yourself down. That's why I call this a course in feeling. This is quite unheard of statement, but this is a course in learning how to feel, because Kingdom of Heaven is an experience. It's a feeling thing. I'm not saying God is feeling. I'm saying without feeling, it's the element of wholeness is missing. Really, there is 4 parts to us. This is actually not from A Course in Miracles, but it's everywhere in there, hey? There's 4 parts to us. And if these 4 parts are not ignited, you can't have a wholesome experience. So I hear a lot of people use this line saying, in my mind. Don't do that. That's like the worst thing you can do, because this idea of mind is this thing that's upstairs, between your eyes somewhere. Call that mind. That's just one part. And just to go there, it's a dangerous trick, and I've seen it over and over in a Course in Miracles community. It's like this line that's completely misleading. And all these people have these experiences between their eyes, right? They talk about their heart, but they talk about it in their mind, right? It's like when your heart begins to speak, your mind disappears. The mind with which we think, it's gone. Then there is silence, because it's gone. And when that is gone, you will begin to feel more. When you begin to feel more, your feeling will awaken another part of your mind that wasn't activated before. That's only second step. The third steps, meaning these two are in alignment, the will of you and the will of God, She loved this in Slovakian. God is masculine and the will of God is actually feminine. So your mind is a thought. That's why the whole course is written in a masculine manner. There's very little about feminine in there, because it's all about the mind. Doesn't matter if it's in a man or a woman. It's still the masculine aspect of a person. And a feeling is that feminine part of the person. Yeah. So a lot of men have these feelings denied, and a lot of women have this mind running their life instead of being the feeling they are predominantly. And I could imagine how I could be speared down for this, and I don't mind because it's true. And so unless you have these feelings activated, and I'm not talking about the daily annoyances, I'm talking about your true feelings. It's the same as we have these false thoughts, false thinking. That creates false feeling. So now we have two most important realities in us. Absolutely not real. It's when you get in touch with your real feelings, you will be blown away, you'll be stunned, you will be in gratitude, you will be in awe. Yeah, and that's just, as I'm saying, it's just those two parts igniting. Once they begin to align, yeah, the mind is no longer running the show. The feeling is no longer emoting and throwing in the spanners and controlling, yeah, emotional control and stuff. I'm talking about feelings that is way, way below this realms of manipulation, emotional misunderstanding. Like, someone's emotional and never really doesn't make much sense, right? And here, very important, I'm not against emotionality. It's very important to be able to see that we have that, but also to know that underneath all that is your real feelings. And then that will ignite your heart like nothing else. And the heart will not sustain itself in a manifestation without feeling. There's no way. Because the electromagnetic field is crooked. And that will create a form. It creates a field when it's actually solidified. You experience it as your body. So you have to have these four parts. And if they're not there, you can, visualize God in your mind, and in your mind you do this and that, and you just like locked up in this little prison, and you will get so focused on all these sayings that are in the Course of Miracles. And again, I want to return this to this. The Course says, teach only love. How? You use the Course of Miracles to undo you, not to undo others. Course of Miracles for you, That Course of Miracles will then remove the blocks to love's presence, and then you remember who you are, yeah? And then it says, teach only who you are. So you just fall into this abyss of the exquisiteness of these four parts being in a full alignment. So your mind as you know it is gone. You never say, in my mind. It's just the opposite to what Course says. Yeah. You'll ignite your heart. That will become the center of your being, and your physicality will demonstrate this. There is no way around this. So it's very important to slow down and really feel these lessons. If you don't feel them, they will just be good as not much. So what? Nothing. And when you say nothing, what purpose of your will, of your feeling body is to demonstrate what it really means, what you are saying. So even perception can be translated into profound experience. Like if you could experience right now absolute nothingness, totality of nothing, you might be fully awake. Right? Totality of absolutely nothing. Actually, it's a masculine bliss. It's nothing. Yeah? Mind that is not filled with those rambling thoughts, that actually is bliss. Right? But that's not really what this lesson's really saying. It says that nothing I see. Who? I. Not somebody else. No one else needs to hear this except you. Nothing I see means what? Anything. And you might go, well, what do you mean? Nothing I see means anything. Well, nothing I see means anything. Really, the answer will come in lesson 2. It says nothing you see means anything because you have given everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. Right? So we, in our separated state, have begun to give everything all the meaning that it has for us. But we gave it in that separated state, and therefore, nothing you see means anything, yeah? Because you're the one who gave it all the meaning that it has for you. And then comes lesson 3 that says, and therefore you don't understand anything you see, right? Because you have given it all the meaning that it has for you. In the separated state, in my mind, you've done this. You've done that in my mind. Huh? So in that idea is correct. But to talk about God in your mind, it's a trip. Your mind is a part of you that thinks and feels at the same time equally. It births the heart, it births the love of the idea, a full expression of it, and then you will experience it physically. So, at no time is body real. Why? Because it constantly reflects the ideas. It constantly reflects what you think. And it's absolutely a precise mechanism. If it's connected to feeling, it will show you perfectly what it is. Unfortunately, in this world, first of all, we associate as like, I am this body. And that's what this course is trying to dispel, because you're not just this body. You're also, mind of God. You have the will of God, Your will is in you, given to experience. And the more you can feel it, the more your body will begin to reflect what that actually looks like, what you created. So exquisite material, very, very thorough and precise spiritual psychotherapy that you can do on your own. It's not a psychotherapy, it's a spiritual psychotherapy. It will awaken you, it will remove the blocks to how you perceive things, and when the blocks are gone, you will begin to experience yourself as who you are. Yeah? It says, teach only love. Teach only that experience. By what? By being it. Yeah? So my purpose here is to just show that there's another way of doing these lessons. And those that are familiar to Course in Miracles, you can see that I am not talking like all the other teachers are talking. There are, I think, vast mistakes happen with some teachers that begin to demonstrate that what has to happen, that there needs to be discussion about what the Course says, and books to be written about it. Now we have hundreds and hundreds of books that are just completely upside down. People come up with all sort of mad strategies, and it's like, wake the up, like this is always for me. It transformed my mind. And did I have those moments where I said, oh my God, I have to tell so-and-so because he's gonna so need it? And eventually I realized that was me in avoidance, me trying to not actually do the lesson. I will make myself busy sending this out to people. And this will be my last talk about this. I might do a few more, but this Cole's Corner on Course in Miracles, I don't think I will be doing anything else with it. Only just talk about this because truly you will try these lessons and that will prepare you incredibly. But at the end of it, you got to resign. You will resign as the one who thinks he can actually do something. Yeah, it will. Course in Miracles for me always brought me to my knees. Yeah, I will be doing these lessons, and they'll be like, wow, I'm experiencing light, I'm experiencing this incredible oneness and everything. And like a few months later, I would be devastated on my knees, right? But I would be on my knees where the true prayer would kick in, and I would ask from all my heart and all my strength and all of my mind, and have an experience of wholeness. Because at the end of this, and I can only speak from my experience, it was again that the Christ, call it Jesus, call it what it is, the unifying spirit or whatever, comes and bursts this mind's bubble. It has to come from there. And you like close your eyes, open your eyes, and you find yourself in the kingdom of heaven. And it's not going to be just an idea, huh? Like the kingdom of heaven is within you, and you go, okay. You'll be going, oh, I get it. And then you open your eyes, and everything will be completely different. You wouldn't be able to compare anything of that experience, of that from then on, to anything to do with the past. It's a brand new thing. Yeah? Brand new thing. That's why don't hold on to your good experiences or bad experiences. Every moment something new is emerging, and we're so preoccupied with thinking about the past. Even just using every single word we use is basically based on past, right? But it doesn't matter, because we're going to use that to transform ourselves. And then after the third lesson, he says, these thoughts do not mean anything, right? Because none of them are really your real thoughts. And so imagine you spend your whole life filling this mind with ideas and studies and I don't know what. Now somebody comes and says like, hey, these thoughts, they're not going to help you with anything. Just let them go. And you go, what? I have my lifetime investment in this. I know so many things. Yeah. And it's exactly what clouds your mind, and you don't see the kingdom below, right? So the heavens above Yeah, when your mind gets clear, that's your heaven. When it's clear of all your thoughts, it goes really, in a way, just becomes light. And then your will begin to manifest that for you, what that experience is. And you look down and all the clouds are gone and you see the kingdom below. Yeah, the presence below the Christmas tree. The whole Christmas tree lights up, your whole body is all light, right? And you begin to unwrap this exquisite parts of you that are just the gifts of God. You'll have like a wholesome experience of any moment emerging as brand new experience, right? And this has to be shown to you, you know. There's nothing you can do. The only thing, and it says in the Course in Miracles once, you know, it says resign as your own teacher. Even this resignation is a miracle, because you can't surrender. If you could surrender, you would, but no one knows surrender. Surrender is also a given thing. You can't just give up. But when you see that you've tried to achieve impossible, and this workbook will train your mind to see that what you made has never really completely fulfilled you, yeah, you will go, okay, I give up. And in the resignation, the miracle occurs, you know. You could have these little episodes of light on the way, but the actual miracle is a complete transformation of your mind from seeing this world as an illusion, because your mind is an illusion. So it's very important to realize that the world is very important. Your body is very important, right? Because it's going to demonstrate to you whether you're in your real thinking or not. If you condemn the world as unreal, you just got rid of that, which can reflect to you where you are in your mind, in your whole mind. Yeah, what's your entire experience? And if you have these imprints in your feelings that will keep drawing experiences to you, and then if you start forgiving the experiences, you're not really looking at the cause. The cause of everything is what's in your feeling body, right? So, you want to see your subconscious? All you have to do is open your eyes. It's right in front of you as a reflection of what's held in there. All you have to do is connect that which you see to what you feel, and then see that your relationship to that feeling is not good. And now you really begin to transform. Yeah, there's a tendency to practice forgiveness. And like I said, you know, people come up with all sorts of ideas about this forgiveness or that forgiveness. You really either want to forgive or you don't. Right? And if you really want to move fast, get in touch with this realm called feeling in yourself. And then you will see that all these experiences that are happening are result of what is held in there. So the world and the reflection is very important to us. Huh? But if you just in your mind, like the little mind, you will try to stop things from being in your world rather than using them for your transformation. Now, Jesus does it very gently in the Course. my approach is a little bit more radical, is you are going to have to get in touch with some feelings that are actually not feeling that good. And but you know, you could be doing this for 20, 30 years, or you could be doing this once and for all and doing it properly from the beginning. One more thing I say before I finish is that one of the most important thing in the lessons, for example, lesson 4, these thoughts do not mean anything, you know, that says, now do this, you know, close your eyes and think about something, and then say, this thought about chocolate does not mean anything. It's like the things I see in this room. Those little applications, there are the it. Yeah, they often skipped. I was like, oh yeah, of course it's like that. No, those are the things. Yeah, each lesson has these, unless they applied. It is going to be a long trip. Anyway, I bring this to a close. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk soon.